Everyone?
Forgot what you're doing with the beat.
On to extended press reference second, we need from the 2003 that it can be in the opinion that I have no reason why the plan would necessarily be the opinion. Of course, plan is not going to be 15-page court opinion, so the text can be seen as only one as you can be an opinion or evidence specific to how we're going to overturn in the opinion, which means that we're still going to get the way we doesn't do enough work here. And essentially, extended press account interpretation overrules implicity so that we don't point to it, but extended press the reason that it can still be in the opinion, that's the IETS card. And also, extended press is going to be best because it's extra resolutional, is going which provides a justification for the picks, not the fact that not that it's going to be plan plus. And the point where they have an extra resolutional burden is it means that they're going to allow for the implicit counterplan, the 5-4 counterplan, secret counterplan that they concede are terrible ground. And additionally, it does require specifically, as to say explicit, they can't have the explicit counterplan if we require explicit, if we have to say explicit before they can run it, which means yes, that this is going to be key to the ground. And also, this is the only ground they lose. They can't point to any other ground unless they even concede that this ground is terrible. And additionally, there's no potential to be some stare decisis. There's no reason we link out of it. Specifically, when we have parts in the 1AC saying they would overturn it, we basically read the link evidence to four stare decisis for them, which means the point where they can't point to any ground, you're not going to pull the trigger. And additionally, extended across that they have no impact to ground. And also, the economic education is going to be better than law data. All this stare decisis ground is just law jargon. Concede that we need this for economics. And additionally, on extra topicality, the specking methodology is the grounds to overrule Morrison, which is going to be key because you need a ground to overturn the decision. The second only increases your ground. You can pick out of any extra topical advantage with the distinguished counterclaim is going to solve everything. And okay, that's good. Let's go into capitalism. On data, data is inevitable. It's what we know. It's what we know, and how we believe the world works. Your personal experience with your author is bad. First of all, because there's a small sample size. For instance, you don't know what's going on in Thailand, where the authors have taken huge samples from the UN. Second, and we have comparative evidence that proves our data is best. This is from Cooter, and also the study cited right after about law journals, but specifically how strong data is going to be better when you fit the regression model. Because rather than just looking at the rather than associating two independent subjects, you hypothesize a cause and then test it to data to see if it works. And three, additionally, wages determine well-being for food, and all that you have to have these sort of wages before you can do anything else with the data. And additionally, on the Zizek argument, this is Sean leads on the manipulation argument. There's no reason that the data wouldn't be equally manipulated for Zizek's clearly anti-capitalist. This is all he ever does. He just puts out like 5 books a year about how capitalism is bad. He clearly is going to manipulate any data he can to prove capitalism is bad, and they don't have any data, which is just reason he shouldn't prove it. And on this rationality argument, he says, rationality argument is. That doesn't lead to subjugation, that their capitalism doesn't have any ethics. That's answered by the Nuremberg card that I'll get to later on the war. And additionally, they read this Missouri's card about how it leads to war, but here's some answers. Growth is the answer is justified because they didn't read an impact until to the block. Growth is the only cure for poverty. Your alternative blocks of foreign poverty. This is Nuremberg 3. Growth is the best cure for poverty. Didn't immediately from increasing value, living from greater purchasing power, continuing reducing power, having long-term growth. There are kids they have to country having long-term growth that benefit the poor population, no into the country, and the growth that not been the higher country growth, faster reduce poverty, and mortality, and relationship growth, it's enough increase in prosperity. And growth is not data. Nuremberg 3, 40 years of income sticks for many countries. Here's the graph, look at it. And this economic growth solves war. This is Mont 97. 120 kids farm profit, 59, 79, 6, Mont 6, 4, 6, the economic stagnation, generating international conflict. This government's going to war distract to satisfy population, domestic economic over recession, may their population abuse their economic difficulties, forces into war, and national reforms, the rooms, economic poverty, and the section. Go to war, this is revolution, empirical escalation, this growth and conflict from art, and together economic growth, daily cases, being the first and compression on the international currency growth, the massive zero, weak positive, similar to so well, there's a bit of such high growth, the high common ground, space, dynamic growth, such high growth, the high common low growth, the high common inverse, and relation, and data, Mont 97. The WOLS regression provides the combination between 30 and 90 is their primary annual series of 30 countries. And also we control uniqueness. Words are decreasing now due to globalization. Is Nuremberg growth. The number of words in the Mitch have during the past decade, they list 1% of the world population affected by military conflicts. The world consists of the United States. Land had no value until they seize it. And, then he says the Keenan evidence, or then he extends the present Keenan evidence that judges of rabbit are in sort of this is in sort of well, that's answered by the fact that an ideology will be solved to the point where, and prefer our actual gain over the alternative that wouldn't even fix judges in any way. And additionally, it talks about how data is going to is a game and we play a game, but you have to have data. You have no conception of what capitalism is. Data is not a capitalist game. Data is how you view the world. That's above in the overview. And he says Shaw leads to decrease in inequality. And Bala is only talking about development of Bala and Nuremberg part specifically cite global studies done by the UN as well, which is Sam. And also Shaw just asserts it. Even if he says it has data, make him show the data or have the article or something. We can't just take words for it. And even if he's called, there's extended across the part about law reviews, how even though law review authors are well, they still follow weak models of data, which is the reason that Shaw would be bad data. And also they say they all leads to no poverty and many reasons, but that's not the alternative. The alternative with dread capitalism, not redistribute wealth, don't allow shift in the alternative. This is strategy and is an independent voting reason if they go from them, which means they're not going to be able to solve wealth distribution just so much to get rid of capital, and that doesn't need to lead to wealth redistribution. And they say the Lincoln impacts are going to turn the data framework, but if we get the data framework, that means you're not going to get your links. And impacts means data framework is going to be prerequisite. They have to win that before they get any sort of links. And additionally, Cooter evidence means that data is the Cooter evidence data is neutral law. Our data proves that when you're neutral, that the law law is neutral and charge the judges when they judge on data as opposed to ideology. And additionally, they say they say that we don't know how the world is, but we have the best model of how the world is, and you have to compare. And the point where we have data and they don't, you just accept their model, even if it's not a perfect model. And also the corroboration of even if and on their Shaw argument, I'll prove that extended precedent over 2003 card that has good form principle of purchasing power, individual versus country globalization makes it poor, and globalization increased living standards, absolute poverty is greater than relative poverty is going to be a reason why they're going to.
Extend the alienation card and then go back.
Alright. Oh, and extended harassment 98, the claims of alienation are unfounded, they don't, their Hall answers don't know economics in the study of rape and harm proves that everything is economic. And
Specifically,
what? Oh, it's specific that we are ethical and that their claims just come from people who don't know economics and how economics means the study of everything. It's not on Foster's definition, it's like the one the court used. And, alright, and on the...
solvency first.
What?
No solvency first on the alternative.
Oh, okay, on the alternative no solvency, there's no reason that it'd be impossible. Extend across the Jaffe card, and it talks about how Jaffe assumes Johnson. Our card specifically talks about how these cities are not going to be able to have any sort of alternative plan. And additionally, extend across the perm that we can imagine and do both. There's no reason that be any sort of severance, and additionally reject the argument not the team. And then additionally, extend across the contradiction argument that's saying, so the Zizek card that they read in the perm, this debate is game, even if it's not a performance contradiction independent voter or something, it just proves that there's no way to escape the ideology of capital, as they refer to it, because we have to live in it before we can do anything. And further to that, and also, Johnson says that we can draw, but at no point they have no plan. All this is impossible to prefer argument.
Can I please get your Rison evidence, your Jaffe evidence, which I think is your Posner evidence?
Yes,
That's the one
sorry.
you see.
940
That's the one you see, which I think is good.
Okay.